My name is Elyas, and I have a bit of a two-track brain. On the one hand, I'm an engineer. I like logic, precision, and sometimes even math. I'm studying computer engineering at the University of Maryland, but when the homework is done and the problem sets are submitted, I'm someone completely different. An artist. More on that later. Mostly, these halves of my brain stay far apart. One or the other is active at a time. But recently, I saw something that ignited both sides. It was a painting. Not made by a Renaissance master or a modern wannabe. Not even made by a human at all. This painting was made by a computer, and it wasn't the only one. AI is taking the art world by storm. From appearing at the most prestigious art markets, selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, it's greenlighting movies, writing poems, scripts, and stories, it's composing music, it's everywhere. Will there come a world where we ask Alexa to write us a specific genre of song? Or a world where human painters can't keep up with the bombardment of thousands of computer-generated portraits? Will there be a world where humans don't even have a hand in art at all? As a young artist, I felt compelled to find out. Are we at the end of art? Alright, I got a bit wrapped up there. Let's zoom back out and start with the basics. My first question went something like this. Computers are like the left side of my brain, logical and scientific. How can they make something as beautiful and artistic as a Monet? Well, as you may know, images in a computer are made up of pixels. And when you look at a single pixel, it's made up of amounts of red, green, and blue. These amounts are numbers, from 0 to 255. With enough three-number pairs, computers quite literally distill every image in existence to a formula. A relatively new technology called a Generative Adversarial Network, or a GAN, is largely responsible for the new AI art wave. These systems can analyze data from thousands of works before it to find ways to make new pieces. So the question stands, is that art? Like any academic researcher would, my next instinct was to ask Google. According to Oxford Dictionary, the answer is immediately no. Art must come from humans. But I don't know if I liked that answer. What about when a chimpanzee or an elephant picks up a paintbrush? Take these three pieces. The one on the right was made by a human artist, the one in the middle by a NVIDIA AI, and the one on the left, a donkey named Lolo. If we can't even tell what's art and what's not, then how much does the definition even matter? Scrolling through more and more AI-generated images didn't seem to help, so I decided to switch mediums. It's hard not to see the math in music, between the rhythms, notes, scales, and beats, and AI sees it too. In fact, what you're listening to right now was written by an AI. And it's not very limited, either. These tracks were made by an AI named Ava. You can play around with this tool for free at ava.ai. The way it works is you choose a genre or style. You can control some parameters like tempo, key, and instrumentation, and then you set it loose. A few minutes later, you have a full song. But is that art? To find out, I met up with a local songwriter named Benny Roman. When people listen to Benny's songs, they don't listen for a 60 beats per minute pop song with guitar, piano, and drums. They listen to the story he tells, by his vocals, his lyrics, his tone and message. When we listen to Ed Sheeran or Bob Marley, something about these stories resonate with millions across the globe. And in a way, all art is more about the story it tells than the content itself. Let's go back to the painting that kicked off this journey. It's a piece called Portrait of Edmond de Bellamy, and it sold for $432,000. I think the reason this piece sold for so much was because it told a great story. It was the first major art auction of an AI piece. That great story resonated around the world, and even hooked me into learning more about it. But Ava, poor Ava, she never even had the chance to tell us her story. Because lyrics are words, and words are a whole different ballgame. Meet GPT-3, the latest and greatest in AI language. GPT-3 has been trained to do one thing, autocomplete text, and it's good at it. A researcher named Gwern Branwyn did research on AI-powered creative writing. In her experiment, she asked GPT-3 to tell her a story about the time the cat stole the sun. It responded like this. Once upon a time, the cat went to visit the sun. He hadn't seen the sun for quite some time. He told her to come out for a walk. The sun told him that she didn't want to. The sun was shy and didn't want to come out. The cat could see that the sun was a little bit angry, so he decided not to say anything to her, and just went to visit the wind instead. But the wind was angry too. The wind wanted to blow the cat away. The cat ran back home, looked for something nice to eat, and went to bed. It is a bare-bones story, but it has the basic structure, characters, progression, and time. It's easy to see how after a few more years of development, these stories could be scaled up. And it's that kind of advancement that made me nervous in the first place. Here's a fun fact though. Did you know that when cameras were invented, they were hailed as the end of art? Because at the push of a button you could photograph what used to take hours to paint. But we didn't just point and shoot. We lit the frame. We froze time, we peered into the cosmos. Then we put frames together in succession to make movies like this one, and illuminated our world in better ways than ever. So sure, we're at a place where at the push of a button, we can do what was once unimaginable. But we've been here before, and it only broadened the types of stories we could tell.